when you walk away from a divorce. It is sad, but it's also a good thing because not only do you give yourself an opportunity to actually meet your person who you're supposed to get old with and who you're supposed to spend the rest of your life with, but that person gets a chance to find that person. I mean,
Yeah.
listen, if it doesn't work out, it just doesn't work out. Like, I don't believe any relationship, any healthy relationship requires that much work to be right. If it's right, it should feel light. It should not feel that heavy. It should feel like everybody is having a good time. Like, I know no relationship is perfect, but I'm gonna need a good 75% of bliss at this point. But I can ride it out the other percentage, but if it's not 75% good and healthy and fun, and you're not my, if you know, you literally have to be my husband and my best friend. I'm bringing all this to you every night. Like, you have to be my freaking best friend. You
Yeah.
do.
DIVORCEPARTY. Welcome to Divorce Party with Monica Casey and Tom Arnold. Our guest today is a mother, actress, and women's health advocate. You may know her from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I have been watching her on TV for over 10 years. You may know her from the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and she is currently starring on Star's Black Mafia Family. Please welcome to the show, Cynthia Bailey. Hello, beautiful.
Hello.
Are you in town filming a movie right now or a show?
I just finished a movie. I'm in LA. I just wrapped up a movie and I head to Miami in the morning.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Did you end up going to Todrick's birthday?
Yeah.
I heard it was fun.
Like, I can just tell you, I walked away there with a renewed sense of like, I got to figure out how to do better birthdays. Like,
Right?
it was a million things going on, and it was just such a fun group of people. All of West Hollywood was there for sure.
I bet.
It just was a lot, a lot. Every room you went into was a different room, and he just has so many amazing. His house is just a collection of everything that he's done, and he's just lived this very colorful life. Like, you forget, like, even for me, I forget how much stuff I've actually done. And I was like, you know what, I got to start framing some of this stuff and hanging it up, because you forget.
Yeah.
Yourself, like, all this greatness.
Did you get a tattoo?
I did not, but I thought about it because I'm not really a tattoo person. But like, for my 50th, I wanted to like do things that I would never do because it was like, you know, just such a big milestone. So I have the tiniest cross on my back, like right at the nape of my neck. But it's so little, of course. And the first rule is like, if you get a tattoo that you can never see, it's almost like I forget it's even there.
Right. It doesn't count.
And it's so small that it doesn't really do anything. So at some point, I want to go back and let someone kind of build on it and make it more of a moment.
Yeah.
It's not a moment. It's just there.
I'm not a tattoo person either. I heard somebody say, why put a bumper sticker on a Ferrari? And I love that.
I know.
If I had gone that night, it would have been very tempting to get one, right? The energy,
real
the
tattoos.
fun.
I thought they were fake ones. I was like, there's no way that they are really doing real tattoos in here. It was real.
Yeah. Very crazy, but so fun. I think I love when people are happy to celebrate their birthdays.
I know. I think as you get older, you just realize like you just got to live.
Right? And what a blessing to also get together people that you love, that love you, and especially a melting pot. I love bringing, because we all have different friends from different sort of phases, their work life. And I love bringing those people together and seeing what happens. So,
yeah. No, it's so funny because I just celebrated my 57th birthday.
What?
Yeah.
Lady, you look amazing. I thought you were like, you mentioned my 50th. I was like, oh, her 50th is coming up.
No, no. I'm well into it. I'm in the thick of it at this point.
I love it.
But what was so great about it was, hi, Tom.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you for doing this.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
I was wondering if you guys had ever crossed paths doing a show.
I don't think so. I
Well,
don't believe so, right, Tom? I mean,
I
sometimes.
don't. I'm a huge fan, though. I got to tell you,
Oh,
Monica will tell you, way before we thought we had any chance of you being on here, way before that, right at the beginning, we shared what we liked about this show and that show and this and that, and I said, well, my favorite, my favorite show, I love the Atlanta Housewives. I said I could see hanging out with those guys. They probably let me hang
yeah.
around. That's what my thing was, and yeah, I love the way everybody talked to each other.
Mhm.
I grew up in Iowa, around women that talked to each other. That got
Yes.
that things were good, and then all of a sudden things got very real. But I
Oh,
loved
yeah.
it. Honored. The only regret I have right now is looking at both of you guys and going, I should have had full freaking makeup on. Both of you guys look amazing. What can
Oh,
I
thank
do?
you.
Thanks,
Thank
Tom.
you.
I almost put on lipstick and then I was like, I don't want to be late. So, but yeah, Cynthia, I mean, and I met Cynthia in person just last week when I went to do
Yes.
Jeff's show. And there's no filters happening. Like you look as gorgeous as your Instagram. Everybody
Jeez.
just
You.
know in person, she is the actual beauty.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Well, full transparency, my glam just left because I have an event tonight
Oh,
in Beverly Wilshire. The Women's Cancer Research Fund event is tonight. So I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna get glam for that, let me just do it early. Let it stay.
yeah.
Go
Wow.
right
That's
into the next.
that's the Jamie Tish event, is it?
Correct.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
she's a very good friend. She's my daughter's godmother,
Get
and
out of here.
that event, man, that's a one of the best events of all the events out here
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, they and the show they put on and the money they raise, and it's
Oh
such a
yeah.
great. And people dress up.
I can't remember. I think Sting
Who?
may be.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
He may
Oh
be
my.
performing tonight. I got to look and see who the entertainment is. It's always somebody amazing, like
Well,
always.
send Jamie my love. Send Jamie
I
my love.
will. I will. I can't wait to
It's
see her
great.
tonight. So
That's so cool. And I mean, it's so funny. I'm sure you hear this all the time, but like it's Housewives for sure, which I know most people probably know you from. It's not just women and gays that watch it. It's the husbands that
Yeah.
get sucked
everybody.
in or the boyfriends, you
Mhm.
know?
Yes, like when I tell you, I can't go anywhere. I haven't even been on the show in a couple of seasons, and everywhere I go, and I'm always so surprised when I'm like on the plane and I see these like straight business white men who I would never think would know me, and they're like sitting there freaking out when I'm getting in my seat, like trying to figure out when it's appropriate to ask for a photo or do a FaceTime with their wife. Like they're
Oh
like, my wife will kill me if I do not take a photo with you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's crazy.
It's
It's
crazy. See,
great.
I have four ex-wives. I have no wife, and I'm still a super fan of yours. And
Thank
because you had a history before the show. I don't know if you know this, Monica, but she had a solid. She had a lot going on, and
I
then she
well,
came on the show.
amazing model.
Mhm.
thank you. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, I like to divide. Are we is this happening already?
Yep.
Are we still talking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. I like to divide my life into acts or chapters. And I like to describe my modeling career as act one, my
Mhm.
TV personality, reality star personality career is act two, and act three is my acting career. I haven't figured out act four yet, but I know that the story's still being written and the book is still, the chapters are still chaptering. So yeah, that was act one, modeling, which
Yeah.
I never saw coming. But yeah, that kicked off everything for me.
Yeah. And it's a specific skill. People think modeling is what, but it's like an athletic thing. Like Arnold, you and Arnold Schwarzenegger, he did 3 documentaries about his
I
first
watched it.
3 acts.
So
Yeah,
good.
and
Oh
he's
yeah.
like, "Wait till you see number 4." I go, "What is it?" He's like,
Yes.
"You'll see." And that's how who knows? Most people don't really have one act, and then to
No.
segment your life, I think that's probably pretty helpful to you. You did this thing, you killed at it. You did this thing, you're killing at it. You're going to do this other thing, kill at it.
Yeah.
And then I think that's you're very lucky, and well, you're talented, but you're very lucky that you could do that. That's how I do marriages. Like I have I have 4 big trunks. I haven't, as Monica knows, I've had one date in 7 years. I'm pacing myself because
Yes. Yes.
if
Yes.
you have 4 eggs, Yeah, it's
Wow.
totally my fault. But
Yeah.
I would go and get divorced, have a giant truck, put everything from that in there, and then eventually one day I had these four giant trucks in my garage, and I thought, well, there's got to be something, and I pulled out like my second marriage wedding video, which is very nice. It was in
Wow.
style. Chris Farley was my best man. I
Oh,
said that's what I tell my kids because my kids have never seen their mom and I. Yeah, I tell them, I'm putting this up at the house. This is your dad when he got married, and it's very
wow.
funny because then you can kind of go through those segments of your life
Hmm.
and take out what you want and re-examine yourself.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure that that's how you look at all your life, including
Well, we
your.
were just talking about all the things that Cynthia's done and all the memorabilia that she's
Hmm.
accumulated over the years. And she could have, a whole homage to all her chapters. And then you could just have like your marriage museum.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
save it, save
That's
it.
a whole
Don't
nother
throw it. Throw
marriages.
nothing. Throw nothing away.
For me, it's part of this. It's part of the journey. Like I've been through two marriages, two divorces. I felt like I needed to go through. It was just part of the story. It's just part of the story. And
Yeah.
I feel like, I'm an optimist. I'm a very positive thinker. I always can figure out how to pull the good out of everything that has happened in my life. Like seriously, I truly live my life with no regrets because it had to happen. Everything had to happen exactly the way it happened because this is how life works. And when you don't have dark times, you can't appreciate light times. If you don't
Mhm.
have, you have to have those peaks and valleys. You have to have those moments where you have to figure it out and you have to decide, what is your purpose? Who are you? And, going back to the acts, the Cynthia Bailey acts, I'm big on reinvention. I'm big on manifestation. I am a dreamer. I am a believer. I am a hard ass worker. And I also am afraid. Like I didn't think in my 50s that I could start, and you're an actor, Tom, so you know how hard that career is. And to start it, the audacity to go from reality TV to decide, okay, this is what I want to focus on now, my acting career. And to just go for it at 55 years old. So
Right.
like
Yeah.
crazy. And it's happening. It's
Yeah.
happening, slowly but surely. I'm building, I'm growing. But I think that's what it's about. I think it's just about like, when you do something long enough, like I felt like the reality TV portion of my life as a housewife, I just felt like I didn't have anything else to say right now.
Mhm.
Like I just felt like I want to do something else for a little
Well,
while.
and
And
you
I
keep
never say I'm
growing.
One of the things I loved about you is when the first time I saw you on the show, I thought, well, this poor woman is authentic. She's gonna get her feelings hurt, and I could see it in
a
your eyes
lot.
sometimes. I could see your eyes getting
Woo.
hurt. I'm not saying you were acting, but that really is now what you're doing. You have to show that to
Yeah.
everyone. I could feel it a couple times, like they're being mean. They are. She's not used to the rough stuff, But you can see in your eyes, which is what you want, because I think a lot of times people see reality shows, it's like nothing. But you
Yeah.
know what? The fact that you have that's what now you're doing. Now you got to share the rest of it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you're bringing that same vulnerability on screen, and it's awesome. I can't wait to watch your show on Stars right now.
Yes. Yes. BMF season 3. I got to work with the talented Steve Harris. I don't know if you ever worked with him,
Yeah,
Tom.
I
He's
know Steve Perry. Yeah, I'm very.
Yeah, super talented. Both of my scenes were with him, and he was gracious. He was so good. I mean, my God, like I just learned every with every job, I just learned so much more. But I got to tell you, like every time I show up, like once I finally book a job, because that's like I think the auditioning process is harder than doing the job.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
once
Yeah,
you're
you
right.
like, shit, it's happening. I'm here. Like they knock on the
yeah,
trailer, you just got to go out there and do it. So
What I do is I look around the set and go, am I the most talented person here? We're in trouble. We're in trouble. What? But even if people you don't know, you say, what can I learn from them? And being
yes.
in a scene, I mean that you can't really. I know you've done it too, Monica. You can't really explain that to people. You're in a
Yeah.
scene with someone that you respect, that's good, and you
or
can't
someone
help
you've grown up idolizing
you
makes it
Yes.
easy.
vampire off of that. You're like, okay, I
Yeah.
want to walk away from this thing because everybody's like, well, getting a job is super hard. And our business has been so weird. But then
Yeah.
you're in there, and if you don't have it, you're in the middle of that thing. This is
Yeah.
your chance. If you don't
Yeah.
have it, you're gone
You're
forever.
gone.
But
Yeah.
otherwise, you can say, what do I learn from this? It's a it's a tingling feeling
Yeah.
when it's going well. Like you're like,
Yeah.
this is
Well, when
Yeah.
you finally get to do it, because Cynthia, like I mean, it sounds like you're similar. The anxiety and all the things we put ourselves through and the discipline to learn your lines, and now we're self-taping, which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's just all these layers. And then yeah, when you finally get a job, you're like, oh wait, I actually get to go do that. Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing actually to be able to be a part of. Like I've watched tons of movies, and that's like my favorite way to decompress. To just just be home. I don't even like to go to the movies. I just like to just be in my space and just like watch movies back to back. And to be a part of movie making, to be a part of storytelling, where you're part of the puzzle. You're a piece of what is bringing this whole thing to life is so exciting. I played myself for 11 seasons on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and as a model, like I've always been me. So it's exciting to be other characters.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see you, series regular, maybe like the reboot of Melrose Place or something amazing, some powerful boss lady.
Yeah, well, I'm manifesting that this year. I think I'm ready to. I just did my first lead in a movie, and I felt like that was like, and it was like a 15-day shoot, and it was just like super demanding. I would do like 10 scenes a day. I felt like I
Mhm.
was literally doing a master class in acting, and I walked away from that experience like what I was like day one, and by the time I got to day 5 or even 6, was just
Yeah.
incredible. So I feel like I'm ready. I am manifesting, and we can revisit this. I'll come back when I book it.
Yes.
I really believe that I'm going to book a series this year and really just
Yeah.
kick this
I
thing
think
off for real. So
I think I know your manager too. Are you still with Chris?
I am with Chris.
I love Chris, and I
Oh,
think
I
you're a good.
Chris.
Yeah, I love him. He's great.
Oh yeah, I have to tell him you said hello.
Yeah, tell him I said hi. Okay, so I want to ask you a few things about divorce.
Okay.
Um, how old were you when you went through your first divorce? And can you kind of just give us a little like, synopsis of, what it was like and how
and
you
what you've
dealt?
learned, what you could,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
experience.
Okay. So my first divorce, I got married when I was, I want to say 40 or 41. And we were married for 8 years. And what I learned from that divorce was not only what I liked in a relationship, I really learned what I did not like in a relationship. I really kind of figured out my deal breakers. And that was, I think that's important because I kind of feel like I'm pretty easygoing. I'm a Pisces woman, I'm a chameleon. I feel like I'm pretty easygoing. Um, I feel like, the first one is kind of like a trial because I've never been married before. So I don't think you can know how to be married until you are married. You know what I mean? You just have
Yeah.
to do it. And then that's when you really, really, get to know the person. I'm a big fan of living with people before we get married. I need to see everything. I would never get married to someone before I live with them. Are you kidding me? I would never do that. And we did all of those things, but then it just came down to compatibility. You just got to be compatible. You got to like, some of the same things. Um, work ethic, morals, values, just like simple stuff that you just got to be on the same page about.
Mhm.
And I just felt like in my first marriage, we just weren't on the same page. And I kept thinking, oh, well, once we get married, maybe things will change. Maybe we will, it's going to work itself out once, I become, this person's wife. And I think that that is a mistake. I think
Mhm.
that when you're in a relationship, the signs are always there. The person I feel like shows up their their true. I feel, you always get that representative in the beginning because you still like getting to know each other. But I feel like after about that third month, you start seeing some small things, but
Yeah.
then you let it go because 3 months is still early. So you're
Yeah.
still like just excited to be in a relationship. So you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, let that
Honeymoon
go.
phase.
Absolutely. Now, about that 6 month is when you're like, okay, so I didn't like that. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way. That didn't feel good. I'm seeing, some things come out that I'm not really, it's not that I don't know if I care for.
Mhm.
And if you decide to go past 6 months, because 6 months is a good time, in my opinion, to just cut it, to just call it. If I don't think you have to know someone for a year to get to know that person. 6 months is a reasonable amount of time to know if you want to go another 6 months.
Mhm.
And anyway, long story short, my first ex-husband was an amazing person. He just was not my person, and that is okay. That
Yeah.
is okay. He pushed me in so many ways. Like, I'm ambitious, I'm hardworking, but I won't say that I wasn't always as proactive. And I believed in myself, but like sometimes people can believe in you more than you can believe in yourself. And Peter was the one that pushed me toward Housewives. When the reality show came up, when that opportunity came up, I really honestly wasn't sure because I don't really love like negative drama. I'm not really confrontational. I really do choose peace. Like, I honestly do. So I just didn't know if I would be a good fit for that show. And, he was the one saying, well, just take the meeting and see what it's about. Like, just go
Yeah.
see. I don't
Yeah.
think I would have I think my whole story, my life would have been very different had I not joined that show because the modeling opened up the first door. When I joined that show, when I was a model, I was known, in the fashion industry, but I was not a household name. Once I joined the Real Housewives of Atlanta, I became instantly like overnight famous, which is a very weird, scary thing. Like, to go from like few people may, maybe recognize you in a magazine here and there to
Mhm.
go anywhere in the world and they're literally quoting things that you said off the show. And you're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
this is amazing.
And how do you think that affected, that must have been an added layer when you're already going through a breakup with
Mhm.
someone slash divorce, and now you're famous.
It seems like, wow, it's great. We're working together. We're on, yeah, we're on TV together. We're doing this stuff, and I felt like it was great, and it was great, opportunity for me. But it does heighten that any relationship stuff. It does heighten. Did you feel that you and Peter, because you were both involved with the show? Do you
Yes.
feel did you feel competition? Did you feel, what
Oh,
did you feel?
you know what? That's so interesting that you say that. I did feel like, first of all, any issues that you have in a relationship or in a marriage, if you are on a reality show, you live it in real life first. So you're
Mhm.
mad at each other in real life about whatever's happening. And if you're filming, then that translates into filming because we were always very transparent. They were always at our house filming. So if we were having a bad day, if we weren't speaking, then we were on camera saying, what was going
Yeah.
on. So you live it in real life, then you live it in the scene, and then you have to watch it when it comes out. And then you gotta like see the social media response to your life. So it's
Oh,
living it a lot of times. And I think it's very difficult to be in a healthy relationship to be able to have that many lives with issues that you go through. Like, it takes, a lot of people say, reality TV,
is a curse.
is a curse. Like,
The
it
curse
breaks
of marriages.
in relationships. And I don't necessarily 100% agree with that. It doesn't help the relationship for sure. It does not help. However, I don't think that it will break you up. I think what will break a relationship up is a relationship that just was never strong enough to sustain the test of time or the test of being able to be put through certain things. And first of all, like, forget the TV part of it. I don't think I actually want to work with my husband. Like, I think some separation. I think he needs to go to a job. I need to go to a job. And then we need to meet at home at 6 o'clock
Yeah.
whenever finishes their job. So that alone is stressful. Like if Peter and I worked at Wendy's together, I don't think we would have lasted.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta have some balance. You just have to have some balance. And I want to come home from my job and be able to vent to my partner about my day with people that have nothing to do with him.
Mhm.
But when you're in the same job, and it just was like never enough time to pull away. And it does become somewhat competitive, even if it's not even negative competitive. All of a sudden, I'm famous, he's famous. And these, it does kind of breed this weird competition
Yeah.
amongst each other.
Yeah.
Right, Tom? Don't you
Yeah.
agree?
Well, I mean, in my case with my first ex-wife, Rosette, I'm younger, so I'd always say, okay, well, I always support my friend, but we met doing stand-up comedy. That's how we met. So we're in the
Right.
comedy world long before we were a couple, and we're friends. And then it transitioned into being more than friends. And I was writing the show, and I thought, well, that's enough separation. I'm
Yeah.
writing, she's doing this, but you could tell. And back in those days, before social media, like the paparazzi stuff, it was crazy because
Mm-hmm.
I could say something or I could do something, it'd be in the paper for sure. It's like you felt like you could manipulate the tabloids. That was a huge mistake because then when they do something you want them to do, then they're going to come back and what happened in that marriage, it was very real. When we had met when I was 23,
Mm-hmm.
she was 30 or whatever, and very young.
Wow.
But then the show and the success, and then we were both pushing things, and then it really became about the what was put out to me then instead of
Yeah.
the marriage. Because you can always at first you go home and go, okay, this is all bullshit. Let's
Right.
we got kids here, we got this, and we stayed with that. But I think I could feel it shifting where it was
The shift.
because that wasn't
The
enough.
shift. Yeah.
And so, you got to, you have to be both strong and keep
Yes.
going back to what's basic, your morals, your,
Yeah.
and and I don't know if you thought about this, but before you get married, just sit down because everybody goes, I will love you unconditionally. And,
Yes.
that's bullshit. There's conditions, as there should be
Big
conditions.
bullshit. Yeah.
Don't break the big rules. Here's the rules you can't break.
Right.
I'm going to compromise and learn and be better, and I'll change in other ways. And you need to do that too. But here's the big ones, and here's how we keep this together.
Yeah.
And I think if you have that list kind of in your head of what yours are
Yeah.
and what his are, have that conversation. That's pretty good conversation to have
Yeah.
before.
Well, and since you didn't have children together, Tom, we talk about that with, his first 3 ex-wives.
Yeah.
You think it was
It's harder with kids. It's harder with
clean
kids.
break for you? I mean, are you guys? Yeah.
Children change everything.
Yeah.
Had we had, especially young children together,
Mhm.
Although I don't believe that it is smart to stay in relationships because of children. However, I think it would have delayed my process in terms of walking away for sure, 100%. And it made it easier. I mean, divorce just sucks. And I'm really happy to say that at this point, Peter and I are friends. I
Awesome.
spoke to him the other day. I still pray for that man. I still wish him well. I only want to see positive things happening.
Do you guys still hook up or anything?
No, I don't block. Now, once I'm done, it may take me a long time to leave.
That's me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I do leave, you will never see any of this again. You see me, but you don't get none of this anymore.
Yeah.
Once I finally walk away. So
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed it while you had it, because
Yeah.
I never, ever, ever, I never go back after I walk away, because I feel like I never really walk away when I should have walked away. I
Right.
always had at least a good year, when I'm thinking about when I know I should be gone, but I'm like, somehow I just feel like I need more time. I'm mentally ready, but maybe not physically ready to just pack the bags and walk away.
Did you throw yourself a divorce party?
Did I have a divorce party?
Did you have a divorce party?
I felt like they gave me a divorce party on the show. I felt like they gave me one on the show, but I I didn't have my own divorce party. I feel like, privately I may have had my own spiritual divorce party with myself.
Mhm.
Um, but no, I mean it was like, there I do think in some ways when you walk away from a divorce, it is sad, but it's also a good thing because not only do you give yourself an opportunity to actually meet your person who you're supposed to get old with and who you're supposed to spend the rest of your life with, but that person gets a chance to find that person. I mean,
Yeah.
listen, if it doesn't work out, it just doesn't work out. Like I don't believe any healthy relationship requires that much work to be right. If it's right, it should feel light. It should not feel that heavy. It should feel like everybody is having a good time. Like I know no relationship is perfect, but I'm gonna need a good 75% of bliss at this point. I can ride it out the other percentage, but if it's not 75% good and healthy and fun, and you're not my if you literally have to be my husband and my best friend.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like you're
Yeah.
my I'm
Yeah.
bringing all this to you every night. Like you have to be my freaking best friend.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
Yeah. That, and let me say this about what I agree with you. You go into something, you give it 100%. You got the best
Yeah.
of it that you, uh, and then when things come up, you're like, okay, I'm going to do everything I can.
Yes.
I know that when I walk away, because I do like the walking away forever, because so many people go back and forth and get
No.
led back in. You're like, but when you know you've done 110%,
Yeah.
and so when you walk away and don't regret. You regret getting a divorce, but you
Right.
don't say, "I should have done." You learn little things that you could have done better, but you left it all on the
Yeah.
field. You did
Absolutely.
it all. It's easy.
Absolutely.
It makes it easier.
And I could have, at this age, most of my friends are either married or divorced. So I've seen examples of really happy marriages where, that 20 years together, that 25 years together is just magical. That you were able to figure it out and go
Mhm.
through whatever shit you had to go through with that person, and you guys still like each other for 25 years or 30 years or 40 years. But I've also seen relationships where I feel like the people in the relationship just kind of settle. Like they're not really happy. They are not that great of friends. And they just, I don't want to use the word stuck, but they're just together.
Yeah.
And it's not a fun thing to watch because I don't see the happiness
The
there.
joy.
And
Yeah.
I would honestly, with no doubt, no question, rather be alone than to be in a relationship with anyone at this point in my life or just ever if it's not good for both of us. Why? I
Yeah.
just rather like just wait.
I like the alone. In
It's
my
amazing.
history, I was engaged 4 times before I started getting married 4 times.
Tom,
Like I
what's
had,
your
What,
sign?
what's your sign?
it's your sign. You,
I
Pisces.
knew it.
No, I said
That
that when you
explains a
left.
lot.
I go, we are.
Did you really?
Yeah. I was
Yeah,
like, you're a Pisces man, and all the love of my lives have been Pisces men,
yeah.
for sure.
Aw.
We don't really work together, but I
Yeah.
know my people. We are. I know how a Pisces man thinks. I just I know them. So anyway, so keep going, Tom. I apologize for
No,
interrupting.
no, but I mean, I was in such a rush to create something. Again, my mom was 16, my dad's 18 when they get married. Yeah,
Yeah,
of course they got divorced, but and she left town. But
yeah,
I was like, I gotta have what I didn't see growing up. I want to get married. We'll be
yep.
partners, with kids, and rushing, not taking a
Hmm.
moment in between, not dating, not dating people like
Yep.
people date. And so the last 7 years, I've been like, there's a lot of things that I don't know if I could give up about being alone. My kids are here, so it's not really alone. But
Right.
you get to take a breath and you think, well, if I ever got another relationship, I'd want to bring that and
Hmm.
have them feel the same.
Or you could just get her a house next door. I like that idea too.
I love that. When I
Don't
tell
you?
I
Didn't
love
somebody
that.
famous in old Hollywood do that? Wasn't it like Carol Lombard and somebody? They lived next door to each other.
I think that is amazing. And I think that when people can go home at the end of the night to their own house, but still be neighbors and still be
Yeah.
close by, I think they're on to something. Like I really feel like you have a really good shot of making a relationship work where you can actually have space away from each other and you come together when you want to come together and you go apart when you want to go apart. I was
Yeah.
This morning when I woke up, I had like such a good night sleep last night. And I was like, God, it just feels good to just be able to sleep ugly, to wake up ugly. Like I always had to sleep cute and try to wake up cute in my relationships. I always was conscious of just trying to look
Oh,
halfway
right.
presentable
Halfway decent.
around someone, like halfway, like, you know what I mean? I mean,
Right.
I myself, but I still made that little extra effort to like
But it is
not
nice when you live alone to wear those ugly pants that don't
everything.
match that sweatshirt from college.
Shower if you feel like, don't if you
Yeah.
feel like. You don't have to share remote control with anyone. You eat what you want to. Like there's like people
There's some
kind of
perks.
look at being single like it's a bad thing, but let me tell you something. Being single, like I've been single for a couple of years now, it has its perks. It definitely has its perks. Like I think the only time I really, really miss having a partner is when I travel. Like I really want a travel buddy. I really love, like I have an amazing life. I get to do a bunch of cool stuff. I get to stay in a bunch of amazing places and I do all this great stuff. And it's those moments when I'm like, dang, I wish, this is the best calamari I ever had. I wish someone was sitting across from me where I can be like, can you believe how good this damn calamari is? Can you believe this
Yeah.
hotel room? I check in, they're like, oh, Miss Bailey, we just upgraded you to the penthouse. I don't even want it because I go in there and I'm by myself and I'm only going to be in the bedroom and the bathroom. Like I don't know anyone in that city to have a party. Like it's like when you don't have anyone to share it with, it's almost like it didn't really happen in a lot of ways because it's like, sucks to
Yeah.
have amazing good times by yourself all the time. It's
Mhm.
lonely. That's when it gets lonely. And I think
But it's also for a woman or a man. When you travel by yourself, yeah, it's you're kind of, it's a good way to be more stealth, I think, because unless they put it all together, because you could just move, you don't have to wait for anybody or nobody, you just get
Right.
out of there.
Where's
But
my passport? You were supposed to hold on to that.
but if for, and I'm not trying to be sexist, but I think for women, you're traveling, you're out there, just in
mm,
general. Do you feel? I'm sure you could kick anybody's ass, but do you feel that was part of having a partner? That what part of the good stuff was you had somebody had your back. They're right
yeah.
here. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, I'm pretty independent and all of those things. However, it always, it's nice to have a man with you,
Mhm.
just for like, I mean, I'm kind of like, very alpha female at this point. Like I can pretty much do anything a man can do for the most part,
Oh, for
but
sure.
it's nice, you know, I can, go fill up my car with gas, but it's nice for my
Yeah.
husband to go do that for me. There's like certain things that I really enjoy a man doing, like,
Yeah.
going to get the car wash. Like, I feel like that's a
Yeah.
man thing,
That is.
keeping the car filled. That's like a man thing. Like, even I love like, anything gardening or anything like that. But I feel like it's nice to do like those things together. But what I realize when I travel, and I travel a lot, and again, I'm an optimist. I always feel like, well, I'm always going to be open minded. I never meet anyone traveling. I sit right there in first class. I'm never seated next to anyone that's I'm interested in or who's interested in me. I never bump into anyone. I even tried the whole like, when you go to a nice hotel, I'm like, well, maybe I'm gonna, I'm tired as hell, but I'm like, let me force myself to go down to this bar and sit and have a drink
Right.
by myself. And then some guy is gonna somehow appear and say
Right.
hi.
Yeah. James Bond walks
It never
in.
happens. It
No.
never happens. And I've sat at enough bars at enough nice hotels to tell you that's only in the
Mhm.
movies.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
not happening in real life.
And
Let me.
And
even
Let
when
me.
they say to not be on your phone too, they're like, don't be on your
now
phone.
I do. I've read everything. I've watched every movie. I know what I'm supposed to do. I know how I'm supposed to move around a single woman to attract
Yeah.
this person.
Yeah.
And it just does not happen. So at this point, I just don't even really, again, I'm always going to be open minded, but it's hard to, it does get a little like, it's like, wow, what drives me crazy is when people say, oh, you're going to meet him when you least expect it. You're going to meet him when you're not looking for him. I'm not looking for him, and I still have not met him. Like, I haven't even come close to meeting
Yeah.
the person. Like, I mean, do I need to walk around blindfolded? I am not looking for a man. I would
Yeah.
find one at some point, but
Yeah.
I'm not looking, and they still have not showed up.
Good. Well, I'm right here. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, so
No,
but you found a second one. You found a second husband. How did that happen?
Okay, how did I find him? How did I find Mike? Did he slide in my DMs? I think he may have slid in the
Very
DMs.
modern. I love it.
I'm trying, I'm terrible. Like, once I because it takes me so long to walk away. Once I leave a relationship, I kind of really disconnect, and I almost
Right.
forget like
Yeah.
details. Like,
Yeah.
I just, in order for me to move on, I just have to just pack it away, and
Yep,
I
I get
don't think
that.
about it more. But I want to say we met in my DMs. And Mike, don't kill me if I'm wrong. He's probably be like, now we did not meet in the DMs. But I want to say we did. I
Okay.
want to say we did. And at that point it'd been a few years since my last relationship. And Mike was great. Mike was supposed to be my, like, kind of normal relationship, although he's in the industry as well. He's a sportscaster, or sportscaster. So I was like, okay, this is great. I'm not really a sports girl. So that's
Mhm.
kind of like his world. And then this is
Mhm.
my world. And, I thought that there would be enough separation in that relationship to maybe have a fair shot. Because, with Peter, we started the show together. We were always on TV together on Housewives. And I thought this would be a little different. Although on the show, they encourage, they want to see our life. If I have a man or a husband, they want to, obviously I'm going to share that on the show. But that's kind of like pop in and pop out. It wasn't,
right,
as,
Very true.
Yeah.
as much as like it was when I got married on the show with Peter. So that relationship, I thought, okay, now this is my second time around. I've learned all the things from my relationship with Peter. I'm going to take all the good stuff into this relationship. I understand boundaries. I understand taking accountability for things that I, could have been better at. Like, I, had some therapy sessions at this point. I've grown, I've sat with myself. I didn't rush into this. This person came after me. So I'm thinking, okay, I know how to, I have a real shot at this one working. And I feel like with that one, it was great. When it was great, I feel like it was so necessary to my story, to my journey. We've had so many good times. We're in a great place. We're friends. I just spoke to Mike the other day. He's doing well. And I feel like with that one, I just feel like I'm just gonna have to call that up too. He just wasn't my person. He just wasn't my person. I think as you continue on your journey with relationships, like with Peter, it took me 8 years to call it. With Mike, I called it a lot quicker because I knew,
That yeah.
you know, I knew sooner, and I knew that. I think once you finally know what a marriage is supposed to be like, and if it's working or if it's not working, that second one is a little easier to call it than the first one. The first one, you're just like still like you don't know what's going on half the time. And with that one, I just feel like, you know what? I'm older, I'm wiser. I think this guy is a great guy. I just don't think he's my guy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you were able
And
to,
that's it.
we've heard that on the show from other women and men that have
Yeah.
been married
Yeah.
before twice. So you go, the first one, because you're like trying to, you hang in there no matter what the side, you're like, this one, I just got to, and then the next time you see those sides, you're like, okay, I'm out. And it's
Oh
been,
yeah. Oh, if I make it to
same.
number three,
Yeah.
if I make it to number three, I mean, he just has to be like so aligned with me. Like,
Yeah.
I will call it in weeks if I can make it to number three,
Yeah.
just because I just really, really have done the work on myself. I really think that I am a good candidate to be a good partner with someone. I really do feel like I have something to offer to a relationship.
Mm.
And if I'm just not the right person for you, no matter how good I want to try to be for you, you're just not going to receive it. And if
Yeah.
I'm just not your person, we just don't have a real shot. And that's just it. Because I've seen relationships thrive where I don't necessarily maybe feel like these people are great together, but it just works for them. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? If it works for
Mhm.
them, then that is okay.
I just love your whole outlook and how you've handled everything and how you're just in a good place as a person, which I think is one of the best case
Thank you.
scenarios that you can get after, let alone one divorce. And I love that when I met you, you had mentioned that you had stayed with your ex's daughter and how she said something like, you and my dad may be getting a divorce, but we're not getting a divorce. And I just
Exactly.
love that.
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm at her house now. I'm at
Amazing.
Peter's daughter Portia's house now. And we obviously became friends during the marriage, and
Yeah.
that was the only thing she asked, was that we kept our relationship regardless what was going to happen with Peter and I. And we've gone on. She's like one of my closest friends. Like that's my girl. And
That is
it's
the
funny because
coolest.
I was
That's
recently
very
talking
cool.
to Peter, and he was telling me how much he loved our relationship. Like she's so supportive. She's so loving. She's really like my bonus child, but I don't even want to call her my daughter because she's like my friend now. Like we've moved past that. Like if anything, she's like helps keeps me together. I'm not really
Oh,
able to really, mother her. She is an amazing mom who I have a great relationship as well, who's Peter's ex-wife. So it's like, there's something so great about families and really, staying connected to, the people that were part of that relationship that you had a connection with. I don't think that a divorce should mean, oh, okay, so anyone that was a part of that, the friends that I made through that, like I was even, the only thing I struggle to separate sometimes in a divorce is who gets what restaurants. Because I was just at one of Mike and our favorite restaurants, Thai show last night.
oh
And
yeah.
I started going back because he turned me on to Thai show. So I was like, damn, he gets Thai show. And now
Uh,
enough time has passed where I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to take my chances that I'm not going to bump into him on a date there or whatever.
I
So,
mean, but that's something that you have to think about. That's another like strategy when you get divorced. You gave me like a flashback to like, yeah,
yeah.
like don't go there. They're probably
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. And you
You
know
might
what's
see
weird?
something you don't want to see.
You know what I just thought about? And I just thought about this now. I've never seen Mike. I haven't seen Mike in person since the divorce, which means I've definitely never seen him with another woman since the divorce yet. Because I think like once you see that, then it really is like, oh yeah, that door is closed. Like he has
Yeah.
really moved on. And
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen me and Peter haven't been together for years. I've never seen Peter in person or even in a photograph with another woman, which
Yeah.
is kind of
But you
crazy.
want,
And he's been
like,
obviously in relationships. I think
Yeah.
he's in a relationship now, but I've just never had that moment where you walk in and you're at the same, everybody's this business is
Yes.
so small. We're all at the same stuff, right?
Yeah.
So you walk in and there they are with their new wife or whatever. I have not actually had that experience yet.
but I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you, and I know you feel this way. Because when you're done with the relationship, you go, I know I'm done. And by the way, having Portia remain friends with you says a lot about you because she knew everything you did before when you were married to Peter was
Hmm.
out of love. Out of love. Because if
Yes.
you're in your DNA, you kind of got to do.
Yeah.
So someone who's just giving you pure love and support and friendship and then her giving it back to you, that's amazing. But my thing was always, okay, I got to get divorced. That's it. I can't wait till there was somebody else. Like I want to make, and when I see that, whether it be their bodyguard or whatever, I'm like, okay, because now I won't go back. Like
Yeah.
I don't trust myself. I'll go back and forth, but I need to see that they moved on. And
Right.
you know,
Right. That visual. You need that visual. Yeah,
yeah,
it's true. True.
yeah. Well, like
Oh,
they have to see you moving on too. That's a fact. Like if I was your ex and I saw, which you'd have to see you. That's the thing about being famous. There's a song called "Always Something There to Remind Me," and the video is a guy that keeps seeing his ex on
Yeah,
TV.
I know. I
Yeah,
know.
it makes it crazy.
I know. I will say, at this point in my life, like I haven't found my person, but I do go on dates. But I
Yeah,
used to be, us Pisces, we're like a lover
yeah,
of love. We're like, yeah, I'm in love. Like I would have
yeah.
hashtags. I would be posting this person I was dating on Instagram and look at like I mean, I was awful. Like I would drive you crazy with like, yay, look at us. We're having ice cream together. My hashtag my person, hashtag my soulmate. Like I would just like literally almost sabotage it by just doing way too much, and
Yeah.
especially on social media. And
Mhm.
now what I have learned, because everything is about not about regrets, it's about lessons,
Mhm.
is this next one, my person, when God gives me my person, this man won't even get a birthday post on social
Yeah.
media.
Yeah.
Okay. He will be a secret for as long as
Yes.
him a secret. I'm going to keep it private for as long
Yeah.
as I can. I'm not really trying to hide him per se. If I get like, when I book my series that I manifested and I'm
Mhm.
walking the carpet to celebrate that
Yeah.
moment, if I have a person, I would like for that person to be there with me to support me, but I'm in no way going to
Yes.
just,
Mhm.
social media wise, just,
The
bombard
vomit
and wear you
post.
out with my love.
Yes.
Well,
Which, as
what if,
we know, the more
yeah,
sappy it is, the more bullshit the
yeah,
relationship is.
I would love it if she did that for me. But what if the other person starts doing that? Like, and you know enough about why you did it. You're like, I'm never doing that again because it makes me.
Yeah.
Uh, what if your person starts posting all kinds of stuff too early? How would you handle that? How would you handle
Ooh,
if the
that's a good
guy?
one.
You know
You're
what?
like,
That hasn't really been the case ever before, but if that was the case, we would just have to have that conversation. And that's just coming, that conversation would just come from a place of love and protection. Because, what I learned is, there's a lot of people that are happy for me, and there's a lot of people that don't give a shit about my life. They don't need to see it. They don't care. They're not trying to lift me up in a blaze of glory. They're like, girl, just find somebody and leave us alone with it already. Okay. So with that said, my person would have to understand that it makes sense that this is probably a good thing for us to protect our privacy for as long as we can before, or if we ever decide to really be like super public. And, I don't mind being in public in person, because I'm not going to, I want to go to dinner with my person. I want to have a life with them. I just don't have to post about it. That's it. Now,
Mhm.
if you catch us, if TMZ catches us in the airport, then we're just caught. It just is
Mhm.
what it is. But no, I don't have to document every meal with this man. I do not have to do nonstop reels of this man on my Instagram. I don't have to show videos of him working out every day. Like all of those things, I don't have to do those things. That's done.
Yeah.
yeah,
I love it.
yeah. But also, let me say this: you and I don't know what you're. When you talk about social media, you talk about negative comments and this is nothing new, positive, negative to you because you've
Right.
been around for a while.
Oh yeah.
I don't. My theory is I don't care about any. I like these people don't exist. So but you can see how somebody, if they were dating you and not from your world, would suddenly. I mean, it's a shocking thing. It's a shocking thing if somebody would disparage you or the woman you
Mhm.
love. They're like, well, how do I beat up all of these people? But
Right.
also, I'm sure you've had to have some conversations
Mhm.
because you have been in this world, and anybody that hasn't when the new does, it seems fun at first, and then all of a sudden they just
Yeah.
start putting shit on it.
It's overwhelming. It's
Yeah,
so overwhelming because, you know, social media just brings a whole nother level of temptation that never existed before. And we're
Mhm.
old enough. Well, I know, you know, you and I are old enough to know the world before social media,
yes,
having, dating and having relationships before that. And, if I'm with someone who, has 800 followers and I got over 4 million, and now we're together, like all of a sudden those eyeballs are going to be on you now. And hey, your followers are going to go up. Like everything, there's going to be a more heightened sense of like, who is this person?
Yeah.
And that is very overwhelming if you're not used to that kind of attention. Like you're just used to being able to post what you want to post, and you don't have that many people that really are concerned about it, to be honest.
Mhm.
And with me, like I literally, I mean, it got to a point where I'd be like, oh my God, should I post this? Should I not post this? Because it's like it can end up on a blog. It can be like, it's just a bigger machine. And it's not, unfortunately, it's not always positive. And I think that alone, like that's stressful on a relationship. Like I almost want my person to not be a social media person. I would love them to almost live in a world where that, like they don't have to post. Like they can be on there.
Yeah.
Like I'm jealous of people that get to have a private page. I'm like, how dare you get to
Yeah.
like everybody else's stuff and we can't see your stuff,
Mhm.
unless you like let us in. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So I
true.
think there's something really, really peaceful about like someone that doesn't have the pressure of really having to share their life.
Mhm. Agreed. Oh my gosh. Well, Cynthia, thank you so much for giving us your
I love
time.
you. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my God. Is it already an hour?
I
That's so
know.
much fun.
So fun. And I just love everything that you're putting out there and your
Thank
relationships and the
you.
people you surround you with. And then do you have anything, that you coming up that we can promote for you?
I always have. I'm like such a hustler. I always
I
have a
love it.
fun.
I love it.
So you know what? Although my episodes are done for BMF, if you haven't seen season 3 of BMF, go and check it out. I am a part of season 3. That's one. I have a bunch of movie stuff coming up that hopefully I'll get an opportunity to come back and promote with
Yay.
you guys. Seagram's Escape. I have 2 signature cocktails, the peach Bellini and the berry mimosa. So the weekend it's
Mm,
coming, grab yourself some Seagram's Escapes.
yeah.
What else do I have? Oh, I have a new skincare line, Glowissimo, with my girlfriend Dana, that you guys will see me, stalking you guys
Wait,
about.
what's it called?
It's called Glowissimo, like Glowissimo, like glow. Yes.
Glowissimo.
And it's a
Okay.
serum and a moisturizer, but that's like all of that is still coming.
Coming.
But
Okay.
anything, the focus is
Cynthia, let me say this.
yeah,
I tell you, I love how much you care about acting. Like you could see, you're not like, well, I'm doing this one thing and I want to whatever. Like you genuinely care about that. And I got to tell you,
yeah.
I've been doing. I'm old, but this last couple of years,
I think we're probably the same age, if I'm not older, Tom.
I'm 10 years older. I'm 65.
Okay, all right, I'm
Or
56.
65,
Okay,
yeah. And
you went.
but I'm a really good 65. But I'm gonna tell you
No, you're
something.
great.
Yeah,
No,
we've
you're
had
good.
our well, I know. Thank
That's
God.
okay. You can blush. It's okay. It's a compliment.
Thomas bright red, everyone.
Caught him off guard.
Our business, it's only going this way, and I've
Yeah.
been, like I say, doing it since the '80s. This is where we have been, and this is where it's going. So there'll be more opportunities for you and me and Monica.
Yes.
Yay.
Thank you. I received that. I know we got to jump off, but just in closing, I just want to say I try to like really thrive in a place of motivation and inspiration. I just want to say to people of a certain age, it just gets greater later. Like, don't let age define your dreams, your passions. Like, you are never too old to do whatever you want to do. Like, you're never too old to just keep going for it. You know what I'm saying? And when I look at my life, I think I'm having the most fun in my life right now at this point in my life. And I think it's because I am, in my 50s. And I know, like, that probably looks like 25, 30 more summers in my life. When you start counting that way, it really like makes you have a good ass time every time you can have a great time. You know what I mean? And life is just honestly, to be enjoyed and celebrated, and relationships, marriages, whatever, like just take the good stuff from all that stuff and keep going, and bless those people, let them live, pray for them, and just keep going, because I feel like the only way the universe is going to continuously bless you is that you have love for everybody, especially the ones that were part of your story, your journey. God bless them. Let them live. Please find love. Please be happy. All of those things. And wish that for me as well. And I will never give up on love. I will never give up on love. I don't know if my next relationship has to be a marriage per se, but I will never give up on love. And that's the Pisces in me. And I love that I love love. And there you go.
Well, you're awesome.
Beautiful.
Oh my God, I feel better. I feel like I went to therapy. I've been
Seriously.
inspired so much for real, Cynthia.
Yeah, you
You're
just
a
motivated me to kick ass the rest of my day. I'm sending
yeah.
those emails. I'm,
And
manifesting
I'm
my
no,
washing
ass
my
off.
car.
those
Washing my
emails.
car. I'm washing my car. I'm not kidding. Because she come out mid-wash cars, and I went, oh, my car's kind of dirty.
Let's all
I'm gonna
go
wash
put
my car.
gas in our own
In
tanks.
your own tank. But it's nice if you have that man. That man needs to do those
Absolutely.
things that he needs to do. And you shouldn't have to ask him to do it. He should just
That's
take that
true.
over.
It's
I
Because it's
true.
love
so
that.
bad. Who wants to ask? Like, I love massages. Okay. I can tell if my man comes in dog tired. I know, just, as a nurturer, I'm just organically going to go up to you and go, babe, sit down. Let me give you a massage.
Aw.
And I want that same reciprocity. I don't want to be like, hey, babe, I always massage you when you're like dog tired. Do you think you can like give me a foot massage tonight? It sucks to have to ask. So just know reciprocity is a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
Love
you're
it.
amazing. She's amazing.
Beth. Oh my God, so much fun. Have a
Yeah.
great time.
Have a great time tonight. Great
Love you
call.
guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Wow.